So, if you're watching this after I have streamed this, welcome. I thought I'd do a really quick stream talking about what's been going on lately and maybe some of the pickups that I've gotten over the past few weeks. If you've been following the channel for a while, I would say some time earlier this year I was doing something where I tried to do a series about a $1,000 challenge. And in this challenge, it's exactly what it says. I was trying to raise $1,000. Sorry, just playing around with some of the settings. So I did that for a while, and then I kind of backed up off of that because honestly, I didn't really have the time, and I wasn't too sure if people were actually enjoying the challenge or not. I did a couple of videos, wasn't seeing a lot of people too interested in the selling side. Maybe that's because a lot of people are not fans of resellers, who knows? But I backed off and went upon my merry way with the purchasing and all that. A little while ago, I noticed that, hey, summer's around the corner and I could use a little funds to go away, pay some bills, all the fun stuff. So what I've done, I sold, I'm sure, over $1,000 of stuff, a lot of gaming stuff, mostly. Some computer stuff, but mostly gaming stuff to, well, resellers that I guess liked the price of what I had. And I cleared out a ton of room at the same time because generally in the summer, I like to have room in my home. So did that, and of course things like, car breaking down and all the other fun stuff happens. So a lot of the money, unfortunately, went to fixing that, but you know what? That's life. It's better to resell and cover some of the costs. Now, I released a video last week, I believe. This past week, something like that. And it was on a cartridge that I picked up. I have the cartridge right here. I'll show you if you haven't seen that video. It was this. So it is the Ken Griffey Jr.'s Winning Run Not For Resale cartridge that I picked up when I went away. The coolest part for me is the fact that, hey, apparently Nintendo still owns this. I've opened it up, I did a video about it. Didn't get tons of traction, but you know what, it was just for fun. I thought I would just show what I purchased. I wanted a demo one, not like a Sonic 2 or whatever demo, but an actual demo cartridge. Saw this in the store. First, I only saw, well, this garbage here, and I was like, not really into sports games, why is it so expensive? Or more expensive than the rest? And picked it up. Hi, Chicory. So, decided to pick it up, and very happy that I did. Now, it's not the most expensive. Hey, Footy Star. It's not the most expensive of games, but hold on. I don't know what you're going at, so I'm not going to be saying it. But yeah, so I picked this up, and it's very cool. I've always wanted one of these demo cartridges, so I'm adding this to the collection. Will it stay forever? Not too sure. Hey, Funny Bunny, anything? I'm more of an NES fan than a Super Nintendo fan, and here's an embarrassing fact. I don't have a lot of plastic cases to put my games in right now, so for now, unfortunately, I have like this old NES one, which definitely doesn't fit. So it is Ken Griffey Winning Run, the Not For Resale demo that I did a video on. If you haven't seen it, it is on my channel right now. I'm good. How are you, Funny Buddy? Anything? So there you go, Footy Star. So love the fact that that is still there. There's no identifying which game store it came from the United States. That's where I picked it up. It's I didn't bother cleaning it, as you can see. It gives the character. So added this to the collection. I will be getting hopefully a better plastic case than this to cover it up. But yeah, demos are very awesome, and I'm always happy to have them. Not a retro game, but something I picked up a little while ago, which I don't have the box where it's in the house. It's in the man cave, we'll call it, is Nintendo World Championships. I'm sure you've seen videos talking about this. When this got announced, I knew immediately I had to have it. I had to get the big collector's box with, there's some art cards, pins, a fake NES Championships cartridge. Is the inside. There's pretty good games on here. Pretty good, we'll say. You know. So we have Donkey Kong, we have Metroid, we have, Mario 2, 3, 1, and Zelda. So awesome. If you haven't gotten this physically, why not? I'm personally not a big fan of downloading games digitally if I don't have to. Actually, Shikri? If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry. So yeah, this was a lot of cool games. It's fun because you could do like an online one where you're playing people across the world, or you could do it locally. So I've been doing it. First I did single player, just playing it, all the different games, and then doing multiplayer locally. As you can see, you just kind of like, it gives you like a part of one of the games, and then you just have to finish that part in a certain amount of time, and there's different levels of difficulty. It's actually, sorry to say, for such old games, this is probably one of Nintendo's best releases of the year. I mean, come at me, but this was awesome. Very happy to have that. Today was garage sale day in my area, and something I picked up was this. If you're of a certain age, you might not know what it is, but it is a 30 gigabyte iPod. So the battery supposedly is not fantastic. I've been charging it for hours and it still says it was charging, but it is completely functional. It seems to have some music on there already. Very cool. There's now going to be a whole generation of children who don't know how to get music without streaming it, so I feel bad for them, unfortunately. But yeah, I picked this iPod, $5 Canadian. Let me know if you think that was a good pickup. They weren't able to show me it turning on, and I think it's because they were using a USB charger when I believe you needed to use a FireWire charger for one of these. It's the old 30 pin, and it's weird to think of this as an old connection, but it is. If you can see it. Sorry, it's making my iPad do this whole thing in portrait, so sorry if you're not a fan of portrait. But yeah, it's working really great. It does have like some scratches and things, as if I can reach around. There we go. As you can see, so it's not perfect in the least bit, but I thought it was a good pickup. I don't know if any of you would have picked this up yourselves. Let me know, put in chat or comments later on. Yeah. So on this, you go to settings. There's 1,748 songs on this. There's like no videos or anything like that. But it's a 30 gig model, just the original. Should be a spinner. Can't hear it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I have a ton of iPods, and I always pick them up when they're cheap enough. I don't like to pay a lot for older stuff like this, but there it is. Well used. When they sold it to me, they said, "Oh, it's something you could use you could use it in the car." I was like, "Sure." They wanted $10, but I was like, it doesn't seem to turn on. Would you take $5? And like, yeah, why not? There's a few of the things I picked up. Yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. No, 2 days ago. Went with the family to a we'll call it semi-local area. There's a zoo in that area. It's full of species of, thank you for the like, whoever left the like. It is an area where they have local fauna and, different animals. And there was a game store that I discovered that I'd never been to yet. It was very small and it's hard to find. Even on Google Maps, it kind of showed across the street from where the store actually was for some odd reason. The store is in this very old building, it's like a house, essentially. So the store is on the top floor. You walk in, and then there's signs leading to the right. If you keep going in, though, you're essentially in your haircut. a hairdresser's, whatever. Anyway, so went upstairs. It is like a small apartment essentially, and the gentleman there had a business in the building before, and he wanted to switch his business. So what he does now is he sells games. His old business was, I think he was a printer and graphic artist. So he wanted to try something different. I don't blame him. He really enjoyed games, and he figured he'd start a game store. Thank you. So I picked up a few things. One of the things that I'd never seen before, I don't know if any of you've seen this, it is an Atari game. If you don't know, I collect a lot of cartridge-based stuff. For a while there, I was collecting essentially everything, but then I decided, you know what? If I'm not enjoying all the games that I'm picking up, why am I spending the money on it? So instead, I kind of sold out a lot of the disc-based games because, yeah, they're fun. Certain ones I definitely kept, but I'm more of a cartridge-based gamer. That's how I grew up. And I kept most of the cartridge stuff, and I still pick up Atari and NES, Super Nintendo, things like that. More NES than anything, but Atari's my second favorite. Didn't grow up with Atari, but I've always found it like pretty fascinating stuff. And I found this. Okay, that is a big story to say I found something that I'd never seen before. Hey, Chris. So it is a Konami 001 video game cartridge for Puyan, I believe. So it is ripped, the label, which is not fantastic. I believe it is an NES game as well. It is a very weird looking cartridge, to say the least, but you know, it has the tabs and everything. I cleaned this. I will be testing this on my 2600 Plus. A little bit later, probably. I have to get it out. I'm the kind of person who, in my setup, I have multiple setups, but setup where my main computer is, I have a table to the back left of me. And on that table, I try not to have too many things on it. So right now, I have a Sega Saturn on it. I have a Commodore 64, see? And what else? Oh yeah, I have an Xbox Series S. But I will be taking out the Atari 2600 Plus because I have a whole bunch of Atari games that I purchased. This was the last one. Again, I had never seen this game before. I believe it is, well, I know it's for Atari, but I believe there's also an NES variant that probably looks way better for the graphics. And yeah, I had to get it. Normally, I'm not a fan of like ripped up labels, but when you find something different, you pick it up. And one of the last things I just want to show really quickly, and maybe we could do like a Q&A or whatever, I'm not too sure. There was really no plan for this stream, but just relaxing at home, and I figure, you know what? Go online, why not? I have some free time. Should be making a video, but I just made a video, so I'm giving myself a little more time to recoup on the video front. So, like I said before, I was more of an NES kid than anything. My gaming journey, technically, we had a Coleco first. I remember playing the Coleco. I don't think it was purchased for the children, but the adults. Then the first machine I remember getting that was more for us was the NES. After that, I guess I was very influenced in the Genesis does what Nintendo don't, essentially, argument. And I picked up a Genesis Sonic 2 because I wanted Mortal Kombat, but I wanted one with realistic blood. And I don't know if, I'm assuming everyone watching this remembers the whole thing. When Mortal Kombat came out, the original game, parents were up in arms because, oh no, the Genesis one shows blood, how dare you, it's horrible. So I wanted that one. I thought it was the cooler system. To me, it didn't seem so, as we say around here, baby lala, compared to the Super Nintendo. I mean, we all know who won that war in the end. Anyways, that is all to say. I did not have a Super Nintendo growing up. But I do collect games for the Super Nintendo, either A, when they're cheap enough, or B, if they're the games that I did play either at a friend's house or family member or whatever, or a game I just always wanted, or a game even I tried as an adult and I want to copy. So, one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo is this. So, I'm sure if you're watching this and you're a gaming fan or a retro gaming fan, you know this game. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It is a fantastic game. This one, I mean, it's a little dirty or slightly yellowed on the back, all that. But what have you. It is a great, great game. The label is in, like, pretty good shape. But I have played this game a ton. I love this game. They did recently port this to Switch. I found it, like on Amazon, I believe for like $70, $80. I didn't pull the trigger because I was like, you know what? I could probably get the actual game for cheaper than that. And I did. So this was not 70 or 80. I did what I always do. This game, I bought like I said, I bought from the same place. This Atari game. Took the games home, cleaned them up, which essentially to me is essentially just, taking out the screws, popping it off, cleaning the PCB, or at least the pins on the PCB. I use an eraser, just a pink eraser, some alcohol. I use a 1-up card. If you don't know what those are, they're a card that fits into the slot, just a little rectangular card. One side is placed for you put your cleaning liquid. I just use 99% IPA. No, I don't use that kind of alcohol. I use, I do. I think it's something else. Sorry. So I use 99% alcohol, clean the pins, get all the grunge off, put it in. Works perfectly. These things are practically indestructible. Added this to the collection. I have a multi-cart with it on it, so I'm probably not going to use this one too often. But it is a prized game that I just absolutely love. I don't know if all of you out there like it too, but I think it's fantastic. And it came with the plastic case. They had a second copy of this for not much difference in price. I think it was like an $8 difference, and they charge taxes, obviously, it's a business. The pins were so corroded, it was like some were like practically entirely gone. He said, it works currently, but I can't promise long term. If it's an $8 difference, I'm gonna get the one that's in physically better shape. I don't know about the rest of you, but I buy better shape games if it's such a tiny difference and it's a game I really enjoy and I want to keep long term. This is back when you bought your game, you got the game, there's no updates. This is the game. Enjoy it. So yeah, those are, like I said, those were some of my more exciting, to me, pickups that I've gotten in a while. So if you have a Switch, get this. Get the physical copy if I was you. I'm more of a physical person. NES World Championships, fun game, especially if you're someone with a small family and you want to, play with your children. It's a lot of fun. Even if you're not, and you just want to do it with a friend coming over, you can do it online, I'm pretty sure, with a friend. If you are not a physical collector, it's weird that you're watching me here because I would assume that most people who watch my channel like physical items and not just digital downloads. Not a huge digital download person if I don't have to. Sorry. And the demo game and today's pickup, the iPod. Sorry, got a couple of messages here. I'm still here if you have any questions. Sorry. But yeah, those are some of the more interesting things that I picked up lately. I'm trying not to spend too much money. From my work, I do, we'll call it slightly a government job. And we had an agreement with the government and they owed us back pay. So got a little nice cash injection, which was nice. So I was able to pick up a few things that I knew I wanted and without stressing about it too much. I don't like to spend too much money. I also got recently a game console. It is. What is it called? It's such a strange game console. Did I have a photo of it? You would assume I did. Oh yeah. It is hooked up right now, so I can't like show you. So this is like a Canadian game console called GameWave, where you play games off of DVDs, and all the controllers are these remotes. Realistically, that's all they are. So I picked that up. Technically, that's one thing that I got on eBay, which I don't like to have to buy on eBay, but I had seen it in the game store when I went to the States on vacation. They wanted a lot of money for what was just a console and some controllers. This one was in box. It was semi-local. It was in my country, at least. And offered them what I thought was fair, because it's not the most exciting of consoles. It's essentially the game that comes with it. You're answering trivia questions. So it has like sports, arts, like all different categories. You can have up to four players, I believe, or at least it comes with 4 remotes. It's from early 2000s, so the remotes are like IR when you're using them, and you're just answering trivia questions. It's a lot of fun. I admit I played with my wife and did not do as well as she did, but we're gonna chalk that up to maybe I was tired. We'll call it that. Am I gonna keep it long term? The Game Wave? I don't know. It doesn't take up that much room. It's something I just wanted to try, honestly. It's supposedly it's a more of a Christian game console. It's something I never knew existed. The big selling point is you can play games or watch DVDs. There's your selling point. Apparently didn't do that great. I'm not surprised. And yeah, so I got that too, added to the collection. That's about it, I believe, for things I picked up. When I was in the States, though, apparently I was a week off of getting a top loader. Something flies by. A top loader NES. If you don't know what a top loader NES is, like when you think of NES, you think of North America, at least, not the Famicom. Of like that big one that looks like a VCR, which was designed that way to sell to the North American market, because it wasn't sold as a video game system, it was an entertainment system, right? So you put the game in the front, you lift the flap, put the game in, and then push it down. Top loader is exactly what you think of. It goes in the top. Technically, it is less apt to failure because a lot of those NESs, the front-loading NESs, had issues with the pins. Like from the insertion and removal, they get dirty, they get stretched out, all that. The top loader are more rare because I believe they came out like when the Super Nintendo was out. So I've been looking for one for years. I've really wanted one, but I have yet to find one locally. I've seen photos of people who are selling video games with them in them, but none for sale. So a game store that I went to in the States. Hello, Rudy. A video game I went to in the States told me, I was like, oh, do you have a console? They were like, if you would come in last week, we had one come in, we would have sold it to you for 120 or 130 US. So, I mean, it's a going rate, we'll call it. Maybe a little bit under. But one of the regulars who heavily collects NES came in and grabbed it. So I was about a week too late to get that NES top loader. Would it have changed my life? No. Is it something I want for the collection? Yes. Do I prefer to find that in the wild rather than buy it online? Yes. For things like that, I much prefer finding those in person. I collect a lot, probably too much, but I enjoy finding these things in the wild more than anything. But yeah. Oh, and now when I was in the States, I'll mention that there's a thrift store called, it is What is it called? I'm looking it up. Give me a second. I'm still here. If you have any questions, by the way, where to write anything to ask a question, feel free. Resource. Okay, so Resource is a thrift. They provide jobs to the community as well. I believe all their stuff is brand new. Given it's not like a Goodwill. Goodwill, from what I understand, in the States also buys some of their stuff from businesses, which I found out. Is this a short stream? You mean because it's vertical? Some reason on my iPad it made me do it this way. Like if I press a button, it's not giving me the option. I'm not sure where the option is, and honestly, this is fine. You'll see me in vertical for the stream. Anyways, I was saying, yeah, so it is not like a Goodwill, which I found out a lot of time. Yeah, trust me, I know it looks different. I wanted it this way, but in the app, I started the stream and then it said to turn your iPad. I don't know. But yeah, as I was saying, so Goodwill apparently in the States, not you, but the Goodwills in the States, they buy from businesses. So Resource doesn't seem to buy from businesses. It seems to be all 100% donated stuff. And I've gotten great deals there in the past. Now, one of the resources, they have multiple locations. Anyways, they moved from one location to the other, and they used to have vintage computers. They had a whole wall, like Apple IIs, TI 99s, like all Tandies, things like that. And they had them all over the wall, but it was never for sale. And I'm talking like a decade ago. Now, since new people have taken over management roles, they now work with the state, city. Don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure which one. According to one of the people that work there in that department, the electronics department, they could sell all those vintage computers, but they can either sell it, according to him, completely fixed or broken. They cannot piece them out. Okay. So there's a reason I'm alluding or explaining all this. I was walking in, I'm looking at their electronics section, which this year was fantastic. They had great stuff. They had tons of Macs. They had tons of PCs from like Pentium 3s. They had different Mac displays for some a reasonable price. Some I didn't quite understand why they're so expensive. Apple printers, one for $5, one for $150 US. Sure. They had a Model 1, 2, 3. Let me look it up. It was a TI 99, I believe. No, not a TI 99. I'm mixing it up. TRS 80. I think it was TRS 80 model. Yeah, a TRS 80 Model 3. One of these. Okay. They had that. And I was talking with the guy who was working in the department. And so, thanks, Rudy. Yeah. I'm getting to the price. So, in the past, when they've changed their pricing policy, I mean, first it was never for sale, and then they had exorbitant prices because they're like, oh, we repair things here, so we're going to charge you for that. So I didn't quite understand because it's not like a regular store. Like you chose to fix it for whatever reason. It was USD, and I'm saying that because there's some Canadians watching, $275. Oh, wait. So USD, it was $275. 2 keys on the keyboard worked-ish. Meaning everything else was fine with the keyboard, but 2 of them you had to like roll the keys. I asked if you blew out the keys with the compressed air, maybe something got underneath them, because I know in the past I had an issue with the Commodore like that, where something got underneath the keyboard and I had to blow it out to clean it. He tried it in front of me, it didn't change anything, unfortunately. So the keyboard needed some kind of repair, but it was very specific with 2 of the keys. Like, you really had to like roll them. He didn't want to pop the key off just in case he broke like the stem or whatever on the keyboard, which I don't blame him. And the interesting thing was, and we're getting to the price there, Rudy. Well, I technically said $275, but wait. There was no actual floppy drives. So for where the floppy drives are, they were both blanks. Meaning there was like a big black plastic in front of it. So I'm assuming it had external drives at some time. Again, I'm not super familiar with that model. I've only seen pictures of it. It was the first time I saw it in person. So we were talking, and I was like, oh, I don't know, $275 US. I'm like, I'm Canadian. Like, this is a lot of money. Well, even US, it's a lot of money. He's like, you know what? We were talking for a bit. I was explaining what I have in my collection. He's like, oh, for you, I do 200. Plus, he has to, you have to pay taxes. After all that, with all the taxes, I'm assuming it would have cost me around 300 Canadian. Which I debated for a little bit. But here's the thing. That's $300 that... Am I really going to throw it at a computer that, first of all, needs keyboard repairs? Which, mind you, maybe it's simple. But also is one with no floppy drives. I would have to get floppy drives or some external solution, so it's already costing me more money to do that. So in the end, I turned it down. I thought about it. I went back there. I looked at it again, but I couldn't do it. It's too much money out of like a household income to throw $300 towards a computer that, let's say, even if it had a floppy drive and the keyboard was working, what am I doing with that one? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's worth it if it had working floppies, like Rudy you just said, but it's a lot of household income to just throw towards myself. So I turned it down. I'm sure it's still there. If anybody wants to go get it. They had before a Commodore 64. The guy told me, he's like, oh, you just missed that. But I already have. Technically, I have 2 Commodore 64s right now. I like the bread bin, and I got the 64C a while back. The bread bin I found right before I went on vacation. Bring it back and sell it. Yeah, I don't know if there's like huge amounts of people out here who are willing to give me like over $300 for something. And I don't like to do large sales like that with anybody. Makes me nervous. So yeah, that was one of the more interesting machines I'd seen when I went to the States. Did other things like some weird medical computer there. Some Pentium 3 Dell server, I think. Other things like that. I didn't pick them up, obviously. I'm trying to be not stingy, but like, what am I actually going to use and what do I enjoy right now? Well, it's just the way I should always be. But yeah. And one last thing I picked up, again, it's not on me, it's in the man cave right now, and I'm outside. I had found, if you followed me on Instagram or X or whatever, I believe I posted a picture of the cleanest Commodore 64 bread bin I've ever seen. I sometimes hit up the pawn shops around here, generally for video games. And while I was looking for NES games, I saw it right at the front glass. There was no power supply, but it was immaculate. There was like not even any bit of dust on it. It looked like it had never been used. I didn't pay off, but I paid what I thought was fair. Plus they threw in one of the NES games I wanted for for what they were asking just for the computer, I said, if you give me that game, that like $15-$20 game, I'll take it. I know they paid pennies on the dollar for that machine. There was no way for them to prove it worked because it didn't have a power supply. Wasn't going to use the power supply even if I did get it with it, because I have an aftermarket one so I don't kill it. And right now, that is one of my two C64s or Commodore 64s that I have. I'm trying not to use it too much because, like I said, it is immaculate. I'm sure my 64C, the slightly yellowed smoker's one, that I cleaned up as best as I could, it's probably a little bit more reliable. So I just work with that one. Work with that. I play with that. Yeah. And I believe that's it for major pickups. Well, pickups. There's nothing major. You probably noticed this. This is laziness. Since I've been off, I just haven't been shaving, like, at all. I trim some. This will be getting rid of soon enough. I go back to work in the next couple of weeks. I can't walk around like this. It is itchy, and I don't know if the look is very good. So yeah. That's about it. I've been trying to think of new video ideas. I have some. I just haven't decided what I want to do, what I don't. I started doing the social media, the social media, I sound like I'm 100 years old. Doing this social media and YouTube page, where I started everything with Instagram, technically, under this assumed retro techie brand, which obviously is not my real name. Just to share passions of types of devices and things that I find interesting and cool. And the reason I'm saying this is I don't want my channel to only be one thing. Now, I'm not taking away from anybody that does their channel the way they want about one thing. If your thing is Macs, do Macs. If your thing is Commodore, do Commodore. If your thing is, I don't know, old games, new games, what have you, do what you have. I do my things the way I want to do them. I will take constructive criticism. I've had people say, oh, you should do repair videos or what have you. If I feel like it, I will do it. As of right now, I do not feel like it. I also don't feel that I am in any way in a position to tell people how to do repairs. I am not great at them myself. I know basics. So yeah, that is to say, I am still thinking about what I want to do. The video that I did on this, just dropped it there, not for resale cartridge, something I enjoyed. It was different. I put together a video. I did the video in the style I wanted. I went into specifics the way I felt I would like to see them. It got the turnout it did. It wasn't fantastic, but it did okay. But the thing is, I do it for my enjoyment. And I know a lot of you out there are probably saying like, oh no, you need to get like tons of subs and views and ask for a Patreon donation and behind the scenes things if you join. Anyways. Sorry, I just got a message. But I don't want to be rude when I say this. People could do what they want. If I know all of you pretty much who are watching right now have a channel. And you do what you want, what you enjoy on your channels. Do I always enjoy everything that everyone else does? No. Am I going to tell them this? No. Because you know what? That's what they enjoy. It makes them happy. On my things, as weird, selfish as this kind of sounds, it's not supposed to be. I post and put what I enjoy. That's it. I'm not doing this for money. If anything, I lose money making videos, buying certain tools, buying games, computers, things like that I show sometimes. I do lose money on that. But it's for fun. This is not everything I want to do with my life. This is just to enjoy it. Say two. That's it. Like, again, I will take constructive feedback, criticism. Some of you out there who are watching, I know have channels are like, you know what, I can help you with this to make your video look better, or it'd be cool if we could do something together, or why don't you do something on this game, or show us what, I don't know, how you fix whatever it is. I'll definitely listen. And I do reach out to specific people when I need help with things and all that. Sorry. It's probably rude to answer a message. But yeah, that is to say, I'm still thinking about what the next video is going to be. Thank you, Mr. Rudy. And obviously, I've also become disillusioned with, we'll call it, some communities that I took a step back. And I'm glad I did in a lot of ways. Yeah. Now, there are other things going on. Obviously, there's health issues, things like that. I'm not going to get into them. I don't want to get into specifics on social media. I will just say, if any of you know that I have not been feeling well for the past couple of years, just to say we hopefully are on the last stretch of that. You probably noticed that I am a much more compact model right now, version of myself, and that was due to some of the health issues. Those should be hopefully dealt with soon. But the medical system we have here in Quebec is pure garbage. And to do anything takes forever. So I'm waiting patiently. Well, impatiently. And I don't know if there's much more to say about any of this. So I've shown you a lot of the games, talked about a lot of the pickups, other things I've been up to. Gaming a lot. Later, Rudy. Gaming a lot. Cleaning home a lot. Trying to just enjoy life. That's about it. Not much else to say on that. And I believe that's it. Unless anybody has any questions. That's about it on my part. This is a very impromptu, just moment that I just wanted to go online and just say hello. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, leave a like. Watch it over 300 billion times, just for fun. And hopefully we'll see you soon in a new video. Have a great day.